like all these days, right? All these days you might have gone through. You can see my screen, right?
Yes,
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 sir.
we can
Sir,
see.
we can see.
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
Yeah. So all these sessions you might have gone through the logistics activities, simple logistics activities, while we perform a ECC to S4 HANA conversion. Okay. Today we will just look into the technical overview. It is just an overview session, like how the technical activities would be during ECC to S4 HANA conversion in a real-time project, and how exactly the project will be executed when it comes to the real-time scenarios, like when we do a transformation project from ECC to S4. Okay. So we look into the overall approach and also the methodology that would be followed during ECC to S4 conversion, and at a very high level, what are the activities that would be involved, and more of technical activities, and how the project will be executed in different phases. Okay, and also a overview of tools that will be used for doing a brownfield conversion. So when it comes to the transformation, like from ECC to S4HANA, when you want to convert a system to S4HANA, there are three approaches at a broader
The
sense.
voice is very low, sir. We are unable to hear properly.
Voice is very low. Just give me a minute. Okay? How is it now?
It's okay, but it's getting a resound.
Can someone mute their mics, please? Yeah, how is it now? Is it better?
It's fine, it's fine.
Yes, yes. It's
It is
better. It's better
Yeah.
now, sir.
Okay, thank you. See, the overall three approaches at a broader sense, right, to convert a ECC system to S4 HANA. So based on the customer's requirement, like based on the customer's requirement as well as based on the current system state in which ECC is in, like we analyze the system, and based on the requirement we finalize which approach is the best suited for ECC to S4 HANA conversion. The first approach is brownfield conversion. Okay, that is ECC to S4HANA. Either it can be from the on-premise to cloud or on-premise to any hyperscaler. Right now, you might have listened. You might have heard about this Rise with SAP. Okay, Rise with SAP, where the complete S4HANA landscape or the total SAP landscape is managed by SAP, right? From on-premise to Rise conversions. Okay, during this conversion, suppose if you want the complete system to be transformed to S4 HANA, like all your customizations, all your transactional data, master data, okay, along with it, like you want to convert the whole system to S4 HANA, the current ECC system to S4 HANA, then we go with the system conversion, that is brownfield approach, the first one approach what you see here. In this approach, we use some DMO tool for converting to S4 HANA, and here whatever is there in your ECC system, okay, it is converted to S4 HANA. Suppose if the customer doesn't want to take the complete customizations, he might have done all sorts of customizations all these years, okay, and some of the customizations he is not happy with, and some of the processes also he is looking to optimize the processes, and he wants to completely restructure the business processes that are configured in the current system. So in that case, we'll go with the greenfield approach, that is new implementation. In new implementation, what usually is done is we create a vanilla S4 HANA system, a complete net new S4 HANA system, without any kind of, we install a new system without any kind of customizations or any kind of other configuration. Even nothing would be there. It's a complete vanilla system. And we start reconfiguring all the business processes. Okay, once all the customizations or business processes are configured in the new system, the master data and the open balances will be migrated from the current ECC system to new configured S4HANA system. Here in the second approach, you won't be able to take the transactional data. Okay, transaction only open balances would be migrated along with the master data. So one limitation with the second approach is you won't be able to take the transactional data into the new system. Okay, that is greenfield approach. The third one is blue field approach. In the blue field approach, it's a hybrid model. Okay, where in the first brownfield approach, you take the complete data and complete configurations to the new system using tool. And in the second approach, you only you reconfigure all the processes right from the scratch, and you move only the master data as well as the open balances. In the third approach is the hybrid approach, wherein you have the two options, like you create, you can take the customizations whatever you want, and also you can bring in the transactional data. At least if you want, if you have 10 years of data in your system, right, for example, and you want to take only 5 years of transactional data, so 5 years of taxation data along with some business processes optimized, those can be migrated to the S4 HANA system. In this case, we'll use special tools called SAP DMLT, okay, database management and landscape transformation tool. And there are also few other certified partners who can perform this kind of conversion. They have their own tools, like SNP is one, CBS is one. So these there are very few in the market who are certified to do these kind of transformations. In the third case, what we do is we create the shell out of the current ECC system. Okay, the shell would contain only the repository data, your exact patch levels, what software is installed in the current ECC system, as well as the customizations that are done on this in the ECC system. It won't have any master data. It won't have any transactional data also. So only the repository plus the customization, we create a shell out of ECC system, then we convert that shell to S4 HANA, okay, without any master data or transactional data. After converting the shell to S4 HANA, what we do is we load the data, we migrate the data from the current EC system. On the S4 HANA shell, you can really make some kind of optimization. Suppose in case if you want some new functionalities to bring in, like you don't have a parallel ledgers implemented in the current system, you don't have a document split implemented in the current system. So those kind of configurations you can create in shell, and after that, accordingly, the data will be, the appropriate data will be migrated, both master data as well as transaction data. In the process, someone, there's a background noise from someone. Can you please mute that?
Name is Akshay, sir.
Can you please ask him to mute his mic, please? Okay, I think now it's done. Thank you. So in the third approach, as I am saying, like suppose if you want to take only 5 years of data into the new S4HANA converted system, then it can be migrated accordingly using the third party tools. So at a high level, these are all the three approaches. So how and what are the factors that decide which approach we want to go with? Okay, as I said earlier, suppose if you want to convert the complete ECC system, whatever is there in my existing ECC system to S4 HANA, then the first option, brownfield, is the approach. And in this, when I want to completely reorg my processes, like I want to do my, I'm not happy with the current processes and I am okay with the transactional data not being migrated. but I want to completely optimize my system. Maybe I can go to the best practices in S4HANA system, and I want to change my customizations and improvise on that. And I don't want transactional data to be migrated. Then the second greenfield approach is the second option. And third is, as I said, the hybrid model. I want to bring in some optimizations, as well as I want to have my transactional data. Even transactional data, I have a choice to slice my transactional data to less than. I don't really need, if I have 20 years of data in my system, it doesn't make sense to have 20 years of data. Maybe audit policies based on each country. What they have is, some countries it's enough that they have 3 years of data, some countries they have 7 years of data, some 5 years of data. So if that is the case, based on the audit policies, we can take the appropriate only that slice of data to the target system. And in the third case, suppose if I have multiple ECC systems in my landscape, okay, one more scenario is multiple ECC systems in the landscape and I want to merge them. And if I want into one single S4HANA system, then third one is option. Suppose I have multiple company codes, I want to merge company codes, okay? Then we go with the third one. And suppose I want to suppose I have 10 company codes in my system and I don't want all the company codes to be migrated to the target system. I just want only 3 company codes to be migrated to the target system. Then we go with the third option. Okay, so these are all the different scenarios wherein you choose the appropriate option, what is best suited for the customer. Any questions, any doubts here in this approaches?
Sridhar, I have a query about that. So,
Yeah,
for example, ECC they have is on-premise. If they want to go with S4HANA cloud or private or public, so is it possibility, because we have a lot of customers would be there in ECC, when it comes to cloud and public or private, there will be not, won't be the SAP won't allow, right, must customization in that.
See, you only told the thing, like you have two options there when it comes to, see, now everyone, SAP is allowing only the RISE licenses, okay, like on any other cloud hyperscaler as infrastructure as a service, you need an on-prem license. That SAP has stopped it and everything is on RISE now. When it comes to RISE, as you said, right, there are two options, public and private. Okay, public is something, the public edition is something that SAP only manages the complete software also. So there in the public, you won't be able to do much customization and all in the public edition. There are a lot of restrictions on the level of customizations you do. Okay. So when it goes to the public edition, it would be a greenfield implementation. Why? Because they provide the software. You only have a choice to configure the data. Okay, configure the customizations and configure your business processes, and then only you can migrate the master data as well as open balances, and you won't be able to do the other two options, the brownfield and bluefield conversion. When it comes to the public cloud edition, it's a net new implementation. They provide the software, they have a lot of restrictions. You only have a choice to configure your business processes, do a slight some slight customizations are allowed, but not to the full extent, and then you migrate your master data. But in the case of private cloud edition, it's a kind of infrastructure as a service. What SAP does is it provides the infrastructure for your S4HANA landscape. Okay, so in that case, you will be able to perform all the three options like brownfield conversion, greenfield as well as bluefield. What that does is it provides the instances for you, S4HANA instances, dummy instances for you. And during migration, what we do is we take the export, suppose if it is brownfield conversion, we take the export from the uh, on premise during the conversion at one stage, like at the sum tool, you have a choice to take the export. You take the export, migrate the export to the infrastructure on cloud, what SAP has provided. There you will import it. So you will build the instance from the export of what is there in the on-premise system. So that's in the private cloud version, it's allowed that you can migrate via brownfield approach or also greenfield approach, and you can also go with the bluefield approach. Does that answer your question?
Means here I have one question, sir. Means here anybody who wants to migrate the transactional data, they have to go for the private cloud. Is it correct?
Yes.
Okay. Always go for. Is there any difference?
Private
Like
cloud and also like see, as I said, right, transactional data, you can convert, you can take your ECs while migration, you can completely take your ECC customization as well as data to private cloud, but that's not possible with the public cloud.
is it actually is it private and public, right? I think private seems to be costly and public seems to be very price wise is different, or how it will be normally. It's a
See, the cost here when it comes to the rise, right? The licensing is based on the subscription model. Okay, you don't have separate cost for infra, you don't have separate cost for the software licenses and all. It's a subscription model, it's a one single contract. Why? Because infra, everything they have clubbed in one single contract as well, for infra as well as the software licenses. Cost usually depends on, it's not that public cloud is costly or private cloud is costly. For both infra is required, they will factor that cost. Okay, the cost will be based on the number of users, number of, in rise case we call it as FUS, full usage equivalent. Okay, so number of users as well as for the core license, you have S4HANA core enterprise license, for that they charge. And in addition to that, if you have some other functionalities, maybe like you want a disaster recovery, this one thing, and maybe you want to opt for a cache applications. Maybe you want to have a SAC in your landscape, SAC, okay, SAP Analytics Cloud. Okay, so likewise, your cost depends on the functionalities that you opt for and that you need. It's not that there is no apple to apple comparison saying that the public cloud is costly or private cloud is costly. It totally depends on the number of users and the functionalities. Each functionality, right? If you want, you get the core functionality in S4 HANA, and apart from that, there will be few other licenses included in the BOM, and based on what you choose, the cost will be, cost depends. Okay.
got it. Thank you.
Any other questions here? Hi.
Yes,
Hi.
this is Bharat.
Sir, this landscape transformation steps, can you repeat again, sir? How it is?
Okay. I will come to that. Before that, someone is about
This is
to ask.
Bharat. This
Yeah,
is
Bharat.
Bharat, sir. You are saying that in second approach, we don't transfer the entire, I mean, what is
Yeah,
called
you don't.
transaction and everything. We transfer only the data which is existing in the old system.
The data also, you don't transfer the transactional data. You only take the master data as well as the open balances in the second approach,
In the
greenfield
second.
approach. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear. Yes, thank you.
So the steps in the third approach, right? Someone has asked for that. As I said,
Yes,
first you will create the shell out of the current ECC system in your landscape. Okay, the shell will contain only the repository data as well as the customizations, cross-client customizations, and the customizations what you have done. The configuration part only it will have. It won't have transactional data, master data, or any other this related to data. It's a, that's why we call it as a shell. Okay, whatever, if you are what are the software components you have installed, on your ECC system. That repository it will take, and it will take the customizations that what you have done. That shell you will convert it to S4 HANA without any transactional data or any master data. Okay. After converting the shell to S4 HANA, you will do the modifications, configurations, okay, configurations or changes that you want to make, or you want to bring in the new processes, right? For that, the configurations will be done in the S4 HANA shell. Okay, once the configurations are completed, the data from the source ECC system will be selectively, see, you have made some changes there, right? And you also, suppose if you want to data slice, like if you want only 5 years of data out of 10 years of data in the source system, so in that case the data will be selectively migrated. There will be, as I said, we'll be using some tools, SAP DMLT tools. Okay, so using that tool, the data will be selectively migrated from the source ECC system to target ECC system. Okay, during the migration we set some rules there. Only you transfer 5 years of data, or only you transfer these two company codes, or only you migrate these particular things. So if you have made some new configurations, new processes, if you have implemented, so those new tables have to be populated, right? So you need to write the rules there, like from this ECC system this data has to go to this table. So that kind of rules you write and selectively migrate from the source system to the target system. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it is clear. But you told something related to this reason A, B, and C. If it is suppose the outside, if one system is in ECC system is in India and outside, then how you can migrate it this one? Like reason A, reason B, and reason C.
See, one only thing is, see, for migrating the data, what you require a connection to that, right? When you migrate, if your source system is in country A, you see one. If you have two ECC systems, one is in country A and another one is in country B, and your target system is in, say, let's say country C. Okay, in that case, to migrate the data, what you require is a connection to that, an internet, a VPN connection kind of thing, wherein the RFC will be established. See, this will be migrated at the application level, and an RFC will be established between these three systems. RFC connection will be established between these three systems, and through these connections the data will be pulled and it will be migrated. Or if you don't have an RF connection there, what you do is you take the export, by some means you transfer the export to the target system, and there you import it if you could not have an RFC connection there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any other doubts, or can we move on? Okay, I will say, I'll take this silence as to move on. Okay, next is the methodology. Okay, so we'll going forward we will focus on the first approach, that is system conversion, that is brownfield approach. Okay, how we do when it comes to brownfield approach. So this is the overall methodology or the steps that we follow during the brownfield approach. So any system you take, okay, if you want to convert to S4 HANA, so this first we do a system assessment that the target system should be compatible, right? Let's say the source system should be compatible to be migrated to the target S4 HANA system. So in this case, the first is system requirements. Like we check the system requirements, that if the source database level is at the compatible level or not to convert, and the source operating system. Anyway, the target will be at the latest S4 HANA, and the source to migrate from the source ECC system to target, it should be at specific database and also the operating system level. If it is very low version, it doesn't support the migration. So those kind of checks, if OS is at the appropriate level, if not, then we have to upgrade the database, and if operating system is not at the appropriate level, then we have to upgrade the operating system level. And it does the like the number of resources when we migrate it, especially when we migrate the production, right? We need additional resources on the application server. So does the system has the appropriate resources to why? Because the data transfer and also your pre-steps, the first prepare phase, right? The pre-steps will go in parallel with the production operations. So a lot of background jobs will be running when we run this sum tool, right? So in that case, does the system has enough resources to handle both the business as well as the migration part? So these kind of checks we make. And the second thing is maintenance planner. Maintenance planner is one thing where it will check whether all the add-ons in the current source system are compatible with S4HANA or not. If any add-on is not compatible, then again we need to check what is the alternative for that. And if required, we need to check with SAP what is the roadmap for that particular add-on to install. Is there any roadmap for that particular add-on to make it compatible in future releases of S4HANA? Or does SAP provide any other alternative for the add-on? Similarly, the business functions. You activate a lot of business functions in the current system. So all business functions are compatible with S4HANA or not. So those kind of checks will be made here in the maintenance planner. And in the pre-checks phase, pre-checks phase is something what you have done so far. You might have run the simplification item check report, right? And you might have done one pre-check is customer vendor integration, which you might have done in the earlier classes. So there will be, apart from the customer vendor integration, there will be few other finance pre-checks that have to be done. Is the data consistencies the consistent to be migrated to the S4 HANA? So there are few reports for finance and from the finance side, which they execute and check if the data is in a consistent state. They populate if there are any inconsistencies, right? They populate and they address those and make sure that before converting to S4 HANA, all the inconsistencies are resolved. And likewise, you people like logistics, you pitch in and you do the CVI part and you do any other activities, pre-activities that are there in the which are required for S4 HANA conversion. That is simplification item check in the report if you find any inconsistencies, any errors. So all the errors in the simplification item check report have to be resolved. Otherwise, the sum tool won't allow the system to convert to S4 HANA. Before converting the S4 HANA, it is mandatory that you don't have anything read in the simplification item check report. And also the custom code migration. Custom code, you might have written a lot of custom code. Now, if your system is on any other database like MS SQL, Oracle, DB2, okay, Sybase, and now on S4 HANA, it is mandatory that it has to be moved to the HANA database. Okay, so you might have written some database specific Oracle database specific code in the system, and you want to, while you move to the S4 HANA, it won't allow there. The HANA, it has got its own syntax, right? If there is any discrepancy there, then the code has to be adjusted. And as well as when you move from ECC to S4 HANA, there are a lot of table level changes, okay? So your complete database has been simplified or it has been reorged. For example, ACI Docker, the finance table, universal finance table, right? That the equivalent to that, you have some 10 to 15 tables in the ECC system. And now it has been simplified and made into one single table in the S4 HANA system. So during that, you might have written your custom code based on some tables which are deprecated. So those things you again need to adjust so that it works as is in the S4 HANA system. So those kind of changes, the technical people, they pitch in, ABAP people, they do this custom code remediation part. And finally, once the system is consistent and clear that all the issues are resolved with respect to pre-migration activities, we start the sum upgrade tool, okay, software upgrade manager tool that is called sum. So we execute this, and this will migrate all your current ECC data into the S4 HANA system. It has got, so it, as well as it will migrate the data, as well as it will upgrade from the current ECC to S4HANA. All the software components will be upgraded to the S4HANA system, and once it is done, all the transactional data, master data will be migrated. And once this technical migration is completed using some, there will be few post migration activities. Okay, post migration activities, like you from the logistics side, you have this credit management activities that have to be performed, and also from the finance side they have few post activities. Actually, when it comes to the migration, right, your ACR docker file is not filled up during the technical migration. Okay, the finance tables are migrated post the technical conversion, so those activities they will perform. Once all these activities are completed, and also when it comes to ABAP part, there will be SPAU activities and other things. Once all these activities are completed, then we can ensure that the system is converted to S4 HANA. Okay, so this is the steps that we followed for the brownfield conversion. So as I said, right, in the system requirements part, it will be like if it is non-Unicode, suppose the system is very old and it is non-Unicode system. So there is no direct step to migrate a non-Unicode system to S4 HANA. So first thing what we need to do is we have to convert it to Unicode. Then only using the brownfield approach, you will be able to convert it to S4 HANA. There is no single step approach for converting non-Unicode system to S4 HANA. Okay, so as I said, like, does the database version support some DMO operating system, application patch levels? There should be minimum patch levels for which it is on it, and the system resources are sufficient or not, and the business functions, add-on compatibilities. So all these things we check in the system requirements. So any questions thus far in this process?
From which version we can directly migrate the data? Like you said that
Using brownfield approach, right from EHP 0 to EHP 8 on any database can be migrated to S4 HANA latest version.
as a functional consultant, right? We are not. I think the functional consultant are in part of this migration, are only part of the data set, right? Normally, functional consultants are responsible whether the end-to-end testing is working or not. That is the right. But here, this completely related to admin task or ABAP, right? Is it correct?
No, the thing is even functional, as I said, right, in the pre-checks as well as pre and post activities, there will be a role for functional consultants, especially finance and logistics. Okay, so there are few activities, SI check activities, as I said, and also few pre-migration activities that have to be performed, which the functional team has to do. And also in the post, once the technical migration is converted, technical migration is done, then there will be few finance as well as logistics activities that functional people have to do. So each and everyone, it's not, see, conversion is not just a technical activity. Okay, it's a kind of, you can visualize as a kind of a relay race, right from the system preparation, right? First basis people will chip in, they will implement all the simplification items, the nodes that are required for having the simplification item check programs and all. The pre nodes, there will be a lot of nodes, like 20 to 30 SAP nodes have to be implemented. They prepare all this stuff and hand over the system to the functional people. Okay, they chip in them. They do the pre-migration activities. They perform like CVA, as I said, that is one of the activity you need to do. Okay, and also they check the simplification item check report if there are any errors which are relevant. They usually those will be relevant to the functional only. Okay, the relevant those things they will address, then they will resolve. Once the functional people have done that, again they will hand over the system to the basis people. Basis people, they do the technical migration. Okay, and once the technical migration is done, again the system is handed over to the functional people. They do their part in doing the post migration activities, And when it comes to ABAP, they pitch it, they will be everywhere. Like when you implement the nodes right from start to end, right? When you implement the routes, there will be few manual activities that have to be done by ABAP, and parallelly they will be doing the custom code remediation part. And functional people, while executing these tasks, they get stuck with some ABAP dumps or something. Then they pitch in. So it's a kind of relay race wherein everyone has their own role. So if one link is not good, then the whole migration will go into a toss. All these activities have to be performed appropriately for a successful and consistent migration to S4HANA. So,
Good. Yeah, thank you. Actually, one more question. So, actually, in the current ECC system, whatever process, right, business processes, so we have a lot of test cases, for example, hundreds of test cases, right? So, after migration, so anyway, we have to do the entire testing, end-to-end testing, right? In
yes.
this case, do we have any automation to test the all the scenarios, business scenarios? Manually checking is very hectic, right? It will take longer time. But is there any way to automate the test cases which we have to test in the after upgrade or after upgrade the system, right? We have to test again, end-to-end test, or is it a manual process?
No, see, testing either if it is conversion or it is an upgrade or a rollout, whatever it is, right? Suppose if you have done a small rollout in your ECC system, whether it is ECC or S4 HANA, testing it has got either you can do it manually and or you have even testing tools. Tricentis is one tool. If the customer has configured already has this automation, but even automation it's not a straightforward thing, right? You need to upload all your test cases, make that automation work, and you need to configure it to automate the process. So if you have the customer is having those tools, or if he wants to use the you want to automate the testing, then yes, he can. It's not that specific to S4. Testing is altogether in any case, in any scenario, like if you do a rollout or a version upgrade in ECC, there also testing will be there. If you want to automate that, you need to have a tool for that, and you can automate. Okay, in this case also in S4HANA also, if you want to automate, you need can configure a testing tool automation. You can configure a testing tool for automation, and you can do an automated testing, right?
Is it SAP provided tool or how it is? It's a
It
third party.
Tricentis is one thing for it is as part of cloud application management, right? Cloud application management.
Mm,
SAP is providing Tricentis as a one tool, but the free version of the Tricentis doesn't have complete features in it. And if you want to have a complete this thing like fully featured automation testing tool, then you need to buy it.
mhm.
So do we do this in development, quality, and then production, or how is the
See,
infrastructure
all
there?
these activities have to be done on each system that you want to migrate. And regarding the landscape how we migrate, we'll come into the subsequent
Thank you.
slides. Okay. So, but one thing is, if you want to convert a system using brownfield, these activities, there is no shortcut that you do in development and move it to the production, but only the pre-checks and all, wherein you have transport requests that can be moved from sandbox to dev to quality and production. But the migration part, like this, using the sum tool, it has to be performed on each this thing. We'll come to that. Okay. So moving ahead. Okay. So this, I think, we have already discussed the maintenance planner. It checks the add-ons that are deployed in the system, whether it can be SAP add-ons or third-party add-ons. It checks the compatibility with the target S4HANA system. And if any add-on is not compatible, then we need to look for an alternate way. If the customer is using that add-on, if they are not using that add-on, it's fine, we can delete that. But if they are using that add-on, then we need to check with SAP what is the workaround for that, okay, and a roadmap for that. And similarly, the business functions, SFW, you will activate business functions, right? So all those activated business functions should be compatible with S4HANA. And there should not be a connected Java system to it, or you cannot have migrated dual. There in the old these things, few deployments they have this dual stack versions like Java and this thing. So we need to delete the Java version or separate the Java version before we do a conversion. Okay, only the ABAP stack will be converted to S4HANA. And solution manager, previously in the initial days, there used to be dependency on the solution manager. Okay, we used to run the maintenance planner as well as we used to run the upgrade XML using mobs in solution manager. Okay, that for the software upgrade management, some tool, we need to give the input. The upgrade XML has to be given as the input to that. The upgrade XML we generate. Actually, upgrade XML is something that it has the source versions complete to the patch levels of all the software components installed in it, and it will create the target. It will also have the target version details, and from source to target, what are the intermediate patch levels that are required during the upgrade. It will have all those details. So if you give the input, it will check the source and it will have the target versions, and accordingly we need to give all the software patches. We need to download and provide all the software patches to the sum. So to generate that, previously there used to be dependency on solution manager, but now since the maintenance planner is a small cloud tool, so as of now we don't require a solution manager for performing S4HANA conversion. Okay, these are all the pre-checks that will be made. And the other things, we spoke about simplification item check report that is generated in the system and the errors have to be resolved. So this is one report. When we start a S4HANA project, first thing what we do is we generate this system readiness check report. So as I said, right, basis people will be doing it. They will be deploying all the nodes required to generate this. This doesn't have any impact on the current production operations. Usually it is recommended to generate this report on the production system itself. So anyway, nodes will be deployed in the development system, then moved subsequently to the production, and you generate the report there in the production system. So this report will contain all the details, like where we have only few are mentioned here, but apart from this, I will let you know. Like if the business maintenance planner check, it again does and it again does it, and it will capture those details also in this report. Add-on and business functionality, business functions, compatibility check. Then it provides the custom code details of it. How many programs, how many custom objects are there, how many enhancements are there. So from that we can estimate like these many custom objects are there, in the sense that for the project these many ABAP resources will be required. So it provides the custom code details, and it also provides the simplification item check details. It will generate some XML files as well as a Word document consisting of all these details. So the simplification item checks, what are relevant for your system. It will scan the complete ECC system and it will check all the functionalities that are activated or that are being used in the current system, and what are the simplifications that have been done on the each functionality will be provided in a tabular format in this report. Okay, so for understanding initially, once you are before you actually do the migration, this report is very important. You generate this report and you need to study from both technical as well as the functional part. For technical add-ons, custom code analysis, they take care of it, and simplification item checks, the functional people will take care. So it will give an exhaustive list of all the functionalities which are relevant for that particular system, and against it what are the simplifications and what are the actions. It also provides what are the actions, whether it is a mandatory action that has to be performed or whether it is an optional action, whether that particular functionality is deprecated in S4 HANA, and if it is deprecated it will provide the note, please check so and so note for this particular functionality which is deprecated in S4 HANA. So likewise it provides all the details and also the transactions. So a lot of transactions are deprecated in S4 HANA and the new transactions have been introduced. So if any functionality, the transaction is deprecated, right? So it will highlight that in the report. And SAP sizing details. So the source system, suppose it's on Oracle, and the database size is around 1 TB. Then what will be the target sizing requirements? So those details, there will be a sizing report that will be executed, and that details will be captured here. So accordingly, we will size the target landscape. So HANA is an in-memory database. You all know, right? So in-memory in the sense that all your database will sit in the RAM, and your execution will also be very fast. And the 1 TB database, since it is in memory, and one more thing is the HANA is a columnar database. When it is moved from the row database to a columnar database, there will be a lot of compression that can be achieved. So if your Oracle database is around 1 TB, your this thing, the target database on HANA would get compressed and would be around 300 GB or 400 GB, something like that. Okay, so those details will be captured here. And coming to Fury apps, so introduction of Fury apps based on the current functionalities, current transaction codes that are using in your system. This report recommends the Fury apps that will be applicable for your S4 HANA target system. So you can go through all the Fury apps. It gives an exhaustive list. Maybe you can choose from that. Out of thousands of Fury apps that are available, right? It at least provides some 100 Fury apps. From there, you can choose. Okay. So what I recommend is whenever you get to work on a conversion project, okay, this report will be generated by basis team, and they will be having it. First, you request for this report, SAP readiness check report, okay, and you before actually doing the activities, you go through this report. Will give a very fair idea about current AC systems and what the challenges that you might face during the conversion with respect to your module. It is an exhaustive report, but you can pick and choose, right? You can only look into the details that you maybe if you are from logistics, right? You just look into the logistics details. Okay. One example is like if the foreign trade is implemented. Now the foreign trade, it has been moved to international trade, or sometimes the GTS might be required. So you'll get to understand what is the foreign letter of credit. Letter of credit is not compatible with S4HANA, and they have given an alternative for that. It can be a GTA. Either you need to use the international trade, or either you need to use the GTS. And SD revenue recognition, the deferred revenue functionality in ECC. Now that has been moved to RAR, revenue accounting and reporting. Okay, so to perform this, to migrate from to go to S4 HANA, there will be few steps that you need to do to migrate the SD revenue recognition deferred revenue data to RAR. You need to implement those RAR add-ons. That is, new add-ons are provided for this particular functionality. So those add-ons have to be deployed, and the data migration has to happen from SD revenue recognition deferred revenue to RAR. Then only you will be able to perform the S4 HANA conversion. So these kind of things you will get to know from this report. Okay, so you ask your team, you just check it with them, and apart from this, the latest versions of readiness check report also gives the details about CVA, number of customers, number of vendors, what are the inconsistencies, are there any number range overlaps. So if there are any, these things are also highlighted, or the number of inconsistencies. There are few prerequisites like contact information has to be maintained before it is synced with PP, otherwise there will be errors. So these kind of inconsistencies and these kind of details, this report, before you exactly see in the system, right, you will know from this report. Okay, sometimes there will be a chance that you miss something. Foreign trade is implemented and you have converted the system into S4 HANA. And after converting, you will come to know that, oh, hey, foreign trade is there. This functionality is not working in S4 HANA. So it's always better you check it before. Okay, so the source of information will be this report. You cannot check everything in the system, right? So you request your team to provide this report whenever you are about to do a conversion project. Okay, can I move on?
This is done by a basis consultant, right? Normally, simple readiness check. Is it
Yeah,
correct?
readiness check report basis people will generate it. The start of the project, right? Any project, the first thing we do is even before starting, even analysis, like in the pre-sales stage itself, before the delivery starts, in the pre-sales stage itself, this report will be generated and analyzed. Based on
Is
that
it
only, we do the
is it
costing.
yeah. Is it related to the system or as well as the transactional data also? Only
It's
system, right?
related, it's related to transactional data only. So whatever the system, whatever the T codes you are using, whatever the transactional data, what is relevant to the system only, this date report will pick.
Okay. Is it like you said like BTP or Fieri apps, right? Normally, is it enabled once it is migrated to the new system, whatever upgraded system?
No,
Can
we
you
have
use
to
directly
activate.
or?
We have to activate them.
Oh, okay. It's add-ons, right? Normally, it's kind of add-ons or.
Yeah, add-ons, you pick and choose the add-ons, okay? So add-ons will be deployed, but apps won't be activated. Apps,
Hmm.
you need to manually activate them.
Normally, BTP is the like automotive of deployments as well as the connecting between the different system, right? Is it correct? The BTP.
BTP, Business Transformation Technology Platform, sorry,
Yeah, technology.
is
Yeah.
altogether a different this thing too. It's no way connected to S4 HANA, but BTP has got its own services like you can right now people are talking about this clean core thing, right? They don't the customizations and all, they want to do it as a sidecar. Okay,
Mhm.
so using BTP has got its own features like clean code. This thing, clean core is one of the feature. Then integration suite is one of the component of BTP. Okay, and you can do automations using BTP. And BTP has provided its own development platform. Okay, build zone is one thing where it provides its own development platform, the application development tool for that. Okay, so it's all together a different thing. Like it's usually it's more of technical. Okay, and wherein it has got now, if you are using PO, and if you and later in when it comes to raise, right, SAP is providing some credit, will provide some credits for BTP. You can migrate all these integrations to integrations provided by BTP. Okay, or you want to do the further developments using SAP BTP build zone. So you can have its own development environment. It has got its own development environment. Likewise, you do it, and you want to build the side-by-side applications, apps. See, if you don't want to customize or disturb your current S4 HANA system, and you want to do a side-by-side developments, so that's also one thing that BTP provides. Likewise, BTP is different thing. It's a completely development and automation platform integration. All these features are there in it. Okay.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Actually, I thought of it. Maybe can we use here to migrate the data? Maybe deployments also we can use it right through BTP. That's why I asked the question. Actually,
Data migration, no. Data migration,
not data migration, repository migration. I'm talking about repository or
no,
something.
even repository, we have other tools to do it, not through BTP. We don't do the same. After migration, we use BTP anyway. But during migration, we don't use any of the tools provided by BTP.
Oh yeah, got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So activities, these are the activities at a high level. Okay, we already have gone through this, like the system readiness and maintenance planner, simplification, item check, custom code. The same thing what is pictorially shown there, right? These are all the some of the custom and pooled table inconsistency checks and missing. This will be done by ABAP again. There will be few pre-migration activities. That is simple. We already spoke about finance and logistics pre-migration activities. Then using some DMO tool, it will be migrated to S4HANA. Okay, just the same thing what we have discussed in the earlier slide. Yeah. So when it comes to the real time, right, any customer or any client or any landscape, they have typically will have these three: dev, quality, and production. Some larger landscapes they even have the pre-prod, okay, and also they can have a parallel landscape for maintenance and parallel landscape for development activities. So larger landscape they will have that, but simple typically each every customer will have uh, this kind of landscape with dev quality and production. Okay, so first thing before touching the dev quality and production, you uh, don't you do a first a sandbox system, a test system, or a sandbox system, or a mock system. First, you convert your test system first. You don't touch the actual BAU landscape like dev quality production. You can call it as a sandbox. Some people they call it as a mock, or some people they call it as a test system. Okay, so here we take the backup, latest backup of the production ECC system, build the sandbox system using that backup. Then you do all the activities what we discussed earlier and convert the system to S4 HANA. And this sandbox system, we test it now. All the integrations testing, if there are any other applications integrated with it, like BW, third party application, and also all the processes are tested end to end. Why? Because there is a changes in the database design, right? So each and every process is end to end testing is done in the sandbox system. Then after testing all the issues identified, we maintain an issue log, okay, and we also have the issue fixes against the issue log. And once we feel confident that the system has no inconsistencies, testing is done well, and all the issues are fixed, right? Then we go with the development system. When we touch the development system, we start doing converting the development system, the system won't be available for your any kind of changes that can to be made to the production system, right? So during that process, usually what we do is we ensure or we enforce a development freeze here. We'll tell the customer saying that during this period, once the development system upgrade starts, right, no other functionalities have to be moved to the production system. Why? Because we are testing on a production copy in the test system or sandbox system. And if you keep on doing some changes in the production system later on, during the actual cutover conversion time, there is a chance that you might get some unforeseen errors because of the changes that have been made till now during this period. So we restrict the developments. We tell the customer saying that you should enforce the development freeze period and only urgent requests which are hampering the business. Like there would be some changes that have to be made, which really hampers the business, right? The daily operations. Only those urgent corrections or urgent transport requests will be moved to the production during this time when you start the development. So to enable that, we make a duplicate copy of development system, the dev one what you see here, okay, and we use that system as, and some customers they also ask for the QAs also, dev one QAs one. So we make the copy, we create a dual landscape, a parallel landscape on ECC, which will serve the purpose till the production is converted. So any urgent request will be moved from the dev one to the production system during this period. So first we start with development upgrade, and subsequently, once it is done, a unit testing will be done. Then we do the quality upgrade, and in quality, one more round of testing will be done, and as well as the integration testing. Whatever, say, in sometimes like your sandbox system, you won't be able to have all integrations established with the sandbox system, right? So Whatever is not possible there, those integration testing will be done in the QA system. One QA system is completed, there can be a quick dress rehearsal before going to the S4 HANA, right? There will be one more round of conversion, a quick dress rehearsal to ensure that your cutover plan is proper or not. That is more critical, right? When you go into the cutover stage, the downtime, so you get the limited amount of downtime, and within downtime you need to ensure that the project is like the conversion is completed and the business will start as soon as the downtime is completed. So to ensure, then in the cutover we record all, in the cutover plan we record each and every activity and against each time. Suppose if you are starting your downtime on Friday evening 6 o'clock, okay, from that time onwards, each activity will be recorded in the cutover plan, and also the transport request against the issues and other activities that they will be maintaining a list, and will having a issue log. And in the cutover plan till the downtime ends, like the business value cutover plan includes all the activities. Once the users are logged for the upgrade, then you will be performing few pre-checks before the actual technical downtime, technical migration starts using the sum tool. Then you execute the sum tool, migrate it. After that, there will be again a smoke testing kind of thing, and after that, there will be business validation, data validation, and then you need to move all the issue fixes to the S4HANA system. And finally, once the business validation is completed, then you hand over the system or open the system for business. So each and every activity will be there in your cutover plan with the against which the time for that particular activity will be noted. Okay, and we execute one by one, and that's how it's a overall this thing will be planned. So any doubts here in this? Can I move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You
Yeah.
can.
So I thought I got disconnected from this. The silence for a moment, I thought that I got disconnected. So
So, sir, one question. Like here,
yeah,
any time period is there, sir, for this cutover?
yes, the time period, the downtime depends on the time you have performed you will be performing all your activities in your test system, right? And you will be knowing how much time it's taking for the sum tool to migrate. Okay, technical downtime. And before that, there will be some pre-checks. You need to take the extract of. You will take some balances extract to match once the post conversion is done, right? You need to match and ensure that the data is consistent. You take the extracts of the pre-balances and all, and then after conversion also you again take those balances and check whether both are same or not. Okay, so in the test run, you will be knowing the time taken for each activity where you will log it, and based on that, you will tell the customer that we require this much of downtime to migrate for every activity like testing, smoke testing, this much. Then moving, there will be some hundreds of transport requests that you will be moved, that you need to move post conversion, all the issue fixes. Okay, for that, then the data validation part. So for each activity, you will log the time, and you will the overall downtime. You will tell them that saying that this is 48 hours is the downtime. Friday 6 o'clock, we are stopping the system, and we will again provide the system. Maybe Monday morning 6 o'clock or Sunday night 10 o'clock, something like that. Okay, everything will be fixed. They will
Okay.
plan and fixed. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
We don't with the business downtime we don't have that luxury to take how much time ever we need. Why? Because there will be, when the business is stopped, it's actually there will be some the impact on the revenue, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Okay, this is more of technical. I don't think this will help you in any way. This is right. Why? Because I don't think you will also be able to understand this. I'll just brief you. Like, see, the source database can be any database, as I said. right? And you have the target HANA database. Now your application server will be pointing to the source database. When you start the sum tool, right, there will be some uptime activities. As I said earlier, that there will be few activities that some will run while before you reach the downtime execution phase while the business is running. Okay, so first year this thing upgrade repository data will be upgraded. You create the some will create a shadow instance in the source database itself. Okay, either it can be a source database and or it can be on the target database based on the versions what you are using. And once it is the shadow instance is created, parallelly the sum will upgrade the shadow instance first. Okay, so here for creating and upgrading you are actually cutting down on the downtime. If you create the shadow instance during the downtime itself, there will be very huge downtime. So what some internally it creates a parallel shadow instance in the same system, then upgrades it, and during the downtime it will transfer migrate all the shadow repository to the target, and then after that the application data will be migrated. And once the application data is also migrated, the application server will switch from your source database to HANA database. All these things are done automatically by the tool. Okay, it will take a lot of time, but all the steps will be, we need to give some inputs to the tool and it will execute it accordingly. Okay. Finally, the downtime optimization. See, downtime again, it depends on the data the source system has, the network connection between the source and target. The downtime, it depends on a lot of factors. Okay, the IOPS of the system, or IOPS of the source system, whether they export. Why? Because if it has sufficient resources to take the export or migrate the data. Why? Because your business also will be happening in parallel, right, till the downtime. And these factors like CPU, RAM, disk. So we discuss with the customer. In the first run, we will come to know the approximate downtime that is it is taking. Then we, if by chance if there are additional resources in the system that customer can provide, then we will tell them that if you increase the resources like CPU, RAM, disk, and network, then we can decrease the downtime. And we'll also check if there are any bottleneck. Network is where exactly it's taking a lot of time during the network transfer. Is it taking time, or while executing in the system itself, is it taking time? Or we can do a table splitting kind of thing to increase the parallel processes and all. Okay, so likewise we analyze the complete execution process and we'll see how where it can be optimized to decrease the downtime. So these are all more of technical. I'm just giving you just to have an idea, so that tomorrow, if you when you do the project, right, you can also have, if you have this background or idea, then you can talk to your team in a more this manner. You can collaborate with them and do it in a more effective way. So that's for the overall technical view. I hope in this you might have got what all the activities, what are first thing is what are the approaches for S4HANA conversion, then at a high level, what are the activities, then this thing like in the real time scenario, how the landscape will be migrated, first the test system or the sandbox system, then dev quality production. So you should have got a fair idea. Hope you got a fair idea on all the activities that usually takes place during the real time. Any questions?
So when you said transformation will be completed once some tool automatically, so there are two separate servers, right?
Yes. Wait, someone please mute your mic, please. There is some background noise coming.
Okay. So so current database is Oracle DB and the future state is HANA DB. So when we are at migrating through some tool, so that means there is a connection between this server and this server at some point. How the data is transformed into this system.
Yes. When it is, if it is in on-prem, both systems are in on-prem. Okay. Then you will have a connection between these two. There will be a network connectivity, and you will have a connection between these two, wherein the data will be migrated from source to the target. The sum tool will connect both to both source as well as to the target. Okay, and the R3 load processes what we have seen here, right? This R3 load, export R3 load. If you have a direct connection, this data will be migrated through the R3 load processes to this. Suppose when you are moving it to Raise or we are moving it to any other hyperscaler, then you won't have a direct connection, or the connection what you have, the bandwidth what you have might not support this much data transfer. Okay, in that case what we do is we take the export here itself. The sum tool will take the export in the same directory where the sum is there. In that directory it will take the export of your source database, completely take the source database. Then by some means we move that export to the target, and we again start the sum in the target system. Okay, in the target system, the sun starts running, and it will from the export what it will be file level export. Okay, that export will be from that export it will import all the data into the target system. That's how it happens.
Got it, sir. Thank you. And all the pre-checks and post-checks will happen each system, right? Even production also during cutover, we have to do that. There is no
Yes,
transfer movements or anything.
few things. See, suppose pre-checks for one particular simplification item check error, you have to do some small configuration which you capture in the transport. Okay, those things you can move. CVA, for doing CVA initially you configure something, right? That you
Yes,
can capture it and you move it to the production. Then you sync it there. You start
got it.
syncing there. And but this thing you cannot move as a transport. This have to be some tool. You have to execute it on each system.
Got it. Even this pre-checks actually, right, as CVA configurations. So during final cutover in the UAT system, so we have to ask business to stop creating customers, because if some new customers come, the number ranges and everything changes, right?
Yes, yes. You have to. Sometimes what happens is they create some customer and that customer doesn't have, won't have BP against it. You come to the downtime. That's what some does is finally when just before going into the downtime, it will re-execute this simplification item check report. Even if one customer is left without being synced with BP, this will fail. That means the simplification item check against that this thing item it will throw an error. Some won't move ahead. So you need to then again sync that customer also. If he has created new one, then only you will be able to move. But we will tell the customer what are the things that you should not do. Okay, if by chance he has to, sometimes we cannot hold the things, right? Business.
Yes.
So we'll allow him to create the customer, but sync it before going to the cutover.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yep.
Sir, which tool we will use here?
For
Uh, Migration for migration, like we will use LTMC or LTMOM, like that.
see for migration from ACC to S4HANA, if you are doing a brownfield approach, some tool will be used. Software upgrade manager tool that I have shown. If you are going for with a blue field approach, then there are tools like SAP DMLT, SNP, CBS. So those tools will be used for blue field approach.
Okay, sir. And for sir, greenfield.
Greenfield, you'll only migrate this thing, right? What is it? Master data as
Yes,
well
sir.
as open balances. There you will be using migration cockpit. The next version, like later LTMC and this thing, the next version of it is migration cockpit in S4HANA. You will be using the migration cockpit for uh, master data as well as the open balances migration.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So if no further questions, can we close this call?
one more question, sir. So,
Yeah, please.
normally a generic question. So, in the transaction, whatever transactional data, right? For example, one of the a customer or one of the condition regard anything missed out in the system. So, in this case, for example, in simple credit check also, maybe whatever simple check, right? It was not found. So, after migration, for example, one condition record got missed out. So then the what happened when customer placing a order, they are missing a discount or whatever it is, okay, due to some reason. So in this case, how can we make sure all the transactional or condition records, whatever repository data, migrated successfully? Is there any like validation, like simple? There is a simple whatever report check, right? Is it? It will show all the records from the system, current system, which is not there or something like that. Or how can we make sure? For example, one condition record got missed out. The customer is not getting a discount. For example, and it's a example. So just think this, and how can we make sure that all the data migrated successfully to the new system?
Yes, see, here there is no specific tool for ensuring that all the data is migrated. One thing the sum itself does is it will check the table counts post migration. Okay, once the data is migrated, it will check the table counts against the source and data target, and if there is any difference in the table counts, it will stop and throw an error. The sum does, and other there is no other specific tools, but to ensure everything is smooth, as you said, right? The issue can be anywhere. So that's the reason why we do multiple testings. Multiple we do is we start with the sandbox system, then we do dev, and also then quality. Again, we do testing, and in the test rehearsal also we do that. So if your conversion is successful with the production, you are doing the test cycle with the production data itself, right? So if your conversion is successful in the sandbox system, obviously in the next run you won't get that any issue.
Yeah.
Same thing will be migrated. So multiple testings is one thing that we ensure we do it before actually going for the cutover to ensure that these issues are uh, if at all, if these kind of issues are there, then it will be identified there. And the other thing is, like during the cutover also, once the users are logged, once all the transactions are free, we don't allow any transactions, right? When all the users are logged and all the communication with other external systems are suspended to ensure that there is no changes in the production system during the cutover. So at that time, just before the technical migration starts, once we freeze all these things, we take the extracts of data, like all the customer balances, open balances, GL account. So all the important data that is there, right, with respect to what is the last transaction posted, okay, on each module. So those extracts we take before conversion, technical conversion, and post conversion we compare all those extracts. So at least some during the downtime also some time will be provisioned to take extracts and also validate post conversion. So this is how we ensure that there are no any errors of this kind with respect to transaction data and transactions.
Yeah, yeah. Why I ask this question, right? When you migrating in SIT and comparing with the production, sometimes actually there is a difference. Actually, it's not similar as production, right? All the integrations and all the environment a little bit different actually. That's why I asked this question.
Yeah,
Sometimes we
this
missed out something in the production.
Yeah, we don't really let anything missed out in the production. We do, that's the reason why we do this testing and also have the validation methods in place.
Sir, actually, yesterday I missed out the class. Have you gone through these slides or anything else we did in the last class? Sorry, I missed yesterday class.
This is only one technical session that will be in this batch. Yesterday's batch might be taken by Ravi Garu. You can check with the management, okay? For every batch, one technical session we take to just make you understand how things go during the real
Oh,
time.
Yesterday you were not took the class,
No.
right? Yesterday. Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, hope this session is useful for you. This silence, I will take it as that there are no further questions. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It is very.
can we close the call now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank you very much.